What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the blue color, playing as Loki. His name is Yoshii. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Poseidon. His name is Matreiuss. The map is Midgard. It's currently 1-0 in this best of 5 series for the Champions League semi-finals. Matreiuss kicking off this series with an absolute cracker. Yoshii has to bounce back here in this game. He's got to get his head straight, ready for this series. Try and work out exactly what he needs to do here. He does go with the Loki. He is going on Midgard with the Loki. I absolutely love the courage in this pick. He's opening up with what I think is the best start here for Midgard, for the Norse players. For those of you who don't understand why this start is so good, I'll unpack it for you just a little bit. Basically, on Midgard, there is tons of fish. You can get somewhere in the vicinity of 15 to 21 fish on this map. If you get yourself that much fish, what ends up happening is you get tons of food. And how do you spend that food? Well, the only way to spend that food is on high-cost food units, which also cost gold, or a high-cost technology upgrade, which also costs gold. How do you get more gold? Well, you get out more dwarves, and that's exactly what we're seeing here from Yoshii in the early game. Yes, you're going to have to put some dwarves onto wood or onto food to help you out, but when things start mattering, you're going to be able to put those dwarves over onto gold and get yourself a ton of extra gold to help you out, as we are seeing those fishing ships now scouting around. I love that play here from Yoshii. If we take a look over here at what Matreiuss is doing, the kind of opening from Greek has almost been set in stone. The Bible to the Midgard opening was basically the first theories of what Midgard and Anatolia should look like was kind of set by Magyar way back in like 2000 and I want to say 2010, 2009. He would go 7 villages on wood, get about a 4:45 to 5 minute advance time. But since then, the kind of build orders have increased in the amount of villages that actually go onto the wood, but the initial opening stays the same, and then they just put a couple more villages onto wood to make sure they can get out the extra docks, get out the extra fish, get out the extra temple and everything else they need to kind of sort that out. Whether that was someone like Mr. or someone who made that build order complete. I think the Pegasus Rush had a lot to contribute towards the Greek early game here as well, but it's basically committed to a Bible here as to what is the correct way to play on this map, at least for the first 4 minutes of this map. And if you can nail that, you end up having an incredible advantage over someone who decides to not play in that style. So we'll see exactly how it's going to go. We do see the Katoskopos is going to be scouting around. This is arguably the most annoying part about playing Norse on water maps, at least for the early game, is the Katoskopos, because he can move around, he can harass the Ulfsark, he can slow those docks down, but it looks like it looks like Yoshii hasn't actually been met with any problems thus far, and you can always build a second Ulfsark out at this point, so it shouldn't be a big problem here for Yoshii. So, relics on the map. Generally speaking, I don't know why. I haven't quite worked it out myself because I'm also a culprit of this. I don't know why we don't see these relics getting picked up that much. Toothed arrows here, extra 5% pierce damage on water maps. They don't get picked up. It's just because it's a little bit too much to think about, I think. And meanwhile, on the top, we do have the Dwarven Calipers, a reduction in siege wood gold production there, as we do see the Dwarf coming out, an Ulfsark coming out. Hermes is already coming through for Matreiuss, but advancing fast on this map tends to not be that big of a deal because you want to be playing defensive here. Playing offensive on this map tends to be a little bit difficult, as we do see the fishing ship differential here. Yoshii with significantly more fish means he gets a significant more amount of food. Matreiuss hitting the classic age first does mean he gets himself per scene first. So if he keeps building fishing ship here, he will be having an advantage with that himself as he puts down a million docks here. This is a ton of docks to be having up at this point. So we do see also the Hippocampus is scouting out the salmon over there as well, that Matreiuss could chuck a dock down and fish as well if he so chooses. But at this point, all the docks are going to be up, and we'll have to wait and see what the next stage of this strategy from Yoshii is going to be. One thing that I'm going to guarantee, well, I'm not going to guarantee it, but one thing that I think would be incredibly useful for Yoshii is to be building his buildings around the town center. You've got no plans of no plans of farming on this map. Your opponent is Poseidon. He's got access to Earthquake. It's an X amount of buildings around your town center means that the Earthquake does nothing to it because it's not going to be able to kill everything off, right? So it's going to be important to do that, as we do see Poseidon immediately coming through here for Yoshii as the Trireme are coming through. I don't believe that Matreiuss has got his Poseidon yet, so he's going straight in for the Trireme as he gets a couple of fishing ship idled here. But the thing is, with Poseidon coming out first, Yoshii idling for fishing ship and the Poseidon coming through effectively means he's still in front in terms of food production. But those Trireme, they are on the way, and Yoshii needs to get himself his boats out very, very fast here to defend as these fishing ships coming back onto this position here. So the Trireme rowing through. Yoshii going to be garrisoning the longboats in for the time being, as the Hursa are going to start moving across the map looking for a little bit of raids, as we see a military academy coming down for Matreiuss. I like the preemptive job there with the military academy getting himself ready to start making things like a pass best and hoplites to deal with Hursa and everything else that comes through. As more Trireme are flooding through here for Matreiuss. The Centaur going to be searching around for some villager kills, but the Troll is already in to get a little bit of damage over here as the fishing ships are currently for Yoshii getting all garrisoned away here. Does Yoshii have an armory? He's already got an armory up, so he might be rushing for that that heroic age through Njord to get himself out some Krakens here, which are incredibly, incredibly useful against the early Trireme of Poseidon. Get yourself out an extra Kraken out of all of it. You can see there's no favor currently in the bank for Yoshii, but he can move around. He's putting some longhouses on the front here. He might even sack the water completely and go for a Njord rush. There is ceasefire available for Matreiuss, but that's only going to buy him a minute because, and that's it, because the Njord will come through and still have the walking woods available, unlike flaming weapons, which doesn't have that aspect, as the fishing ships are just continually getting garrisoned here. Matreiuss is doing some incredibly good damage to Yoshii as he is defending nicely. Meanwhile, in the main base of Matreiuss, we see an armory coming up. The archery range is coming through as well. Matreiuss is going to be heading to that next age very, very shortly. One answer to the early Kraken here of the Loki is going to be the Skylar. But Matreiuss doesn't have any villagers on favor yet, and he might not want to invest all too much in that, as we do see the longboats popping out onto this position, the fishing ships popping out as well. Matreiuss not paying attention here for the time being. He will be losing the majority of those Trireme here as more Trireme need to come around to deal with this one here, as all of these longhouses are up. Hall of Thanes coming through as well for Yoshii, as the units are starting to look through. Aphrodite on the way from Matreiuss is a surprise here, as the Njord does come through. The Kraken is in now. The Trireme will have to retreat back, and Yoshii is going to have full access to all of his fish here. The question is Matreiuss in front now after all is said and done with that damage, or is Yoshii in front here? As we do see Poseidon is through. Matreiuss He's not in the next age yet, but he's got a lot to deal with as these units here are popping out for Yoshii. He's got himself the Hall of Thanes. He's got himself the heroic age. So they're very, very strong at this point. We'll see how it's all going to go here. As the Troll coming through, we do see the walking woods gets dropped down. The hardest part here for Matreiuss is going to be, how does he get that second gold mine with Yoshii being spread out in the middle of the map? He does have control of this gold mine, but that's about it. Sultan 4 comes through here for Yoshii, as well as the longboats are moving around. Where is the Kraken? That's the most important unit here. There it is. There's the Kraken. That's the most important unit here for Yoshii because it can one-hit fishing ships. There's another unit, another naval unit called the Nereid for Atlantean, which is just as good as the Kraken, if not better, because it just moves around really fast and just kills off those myth units. Now, we do see the heroic age has come through for Matreiuss. Matreiuss now getting himself arrow ship cladding as well. He might want to get himself the upgrade for his archer ships to get himself an extra bit of damage against the water myth units. We'll see how it's all going to go as the curses drop down, the Thrown Axeman getting taken out, but the Walking Pines will help out with this fight. Yoshi's still taking this fight, though, with the Herser against those Hypaspis. The units are just going to keep on flooding out. Yoshi needs to start thinking about raiding cavalry or something like that, as we're still seeing over here, the units defending each other. The Kraken going to be simply moving past here, and he's going to be looking for potential fishing ship kills. At this point, Yoshi's food starting to move up here as the army retreating back. The Thrown Axeman getting created into these longhouses here as Matreiuss starting to take down houses and things like that. As Yoshi, he might need to rethink what's happening here with his forward base and rebuild it a little bit further back, as we see the storehouse coming down right in the face of this, as it looks like Matreiuss doesn't really care. The longboats coming through here going to be finding some fishing ships to take out as the heavy triremes moving back onto this position as the Kraken moves straight through here. Good reaction so far from Matreiuss as the units are going to be popping out of the longhouse. We do see heavy, or not heavy, but medium cavalry coming through, as well as the Thrown Axeman trying to retreat away. But it looks like Matreiuss has held on for the time being here. There's another longhouse coming down on this position. Options now for Yoshi. He does still have another timing attack here in the Mythic Age with a Fimbulwinter, with the idea of making himself either Jormungand Elver or a ton of Fimbulwinter Wolves. Alternatively, getting the town centers up, he can be in a good position, but Matreiuss here has now got himself map control. The gold mine over here also very, very open, as we see a hill fort getting thrown down. The walls coming up for Yoshi as he's a little bit concerned about what might be coming for him. Meanwhile, over on this position, the heavy triremes actually kind of ignoring the Kraken for the time being, as Yoshi doesn't have any upgrades for his longboats. It's so vitally important to get that arrow ship cladding upgrade because it gives your boats so much HP. The Kraken can retreat and pick off a trireme, retreat, pick off a trireme, continue around like that, as we do see the raiders coming through here, getting a little bit of harass onto these villages, but nothing too big going to be made from that one. As Yoshi here, does he have his market up? I don't see the market up just yet, but he is definitely gearing up to go to that Mythic Age. He could also go through hell here and get himself access to a ton of fire giants, which can be incredibly tough to deal with for the Poseidon player, because they've only got one archer hero. Plus, on top of that, to deal with a Nidhogg, but plus on top of that, the fire giants can be incredibly difficult to deal with as well. We do see a marker coming up, the town center on this position, going the wayside of Matreiuss, as well as the Kraken moving back in onto this position here. The trireme going to get a little bit of damage done as that Kraken here looks like it might be going down relatively soon. And we do indeed see Tia coming through for Yoshi. So he's deciding to get that economic damage down instead of getting the incredibly strong Fire Giant and Nidhogg. Plus he gets the Jormungand Elvers as well to help out as the Ulfsark swinging through onto this position. They will be noticing the villagers here. There is an opportunity here for Matreiuss to cast Ceasefire and actually block the Fimbulwinter as well. So we'll see what Yoshi's going to do. Is he going to click the Fimbulwinter immediately or hold onto it and bait out that ceasefire from coming in? There is still a ceasefire remaining, right? It's not pestilence or anything silly. Yep, that is still there, as the Mountain Giant going to come through here and try and hit this position, as well as the units have to retreat back here for the time being. The damage coming into the main base here of Yoshi might want to build a couple more of those temples. As the triremes coming onto this position, Yoshi needs to start paying attention to this one. One trireme getting a little bit too much value there, as we do indeed see the ceasefire coming through. Heroic fleet on the way here for Matreiuss, as he's almost sniffing out the Mythic Age coming through for Yoshi. Yoshi with plenty of resources now. He can move up and grab this town center. The town center over here coming up for Matreiuss, but this does give Yoshi plenty of time to at least have one town center for himself to hit this town center here in the Mythic Age with a Fimbulwinter. As the Kraken over here at 66 HP wants to get taken out, but Jormungand Elver's coming through fairly shortly. Yoshi doesn't need to be garrisoning those at this point, but we will be seeing that town center coming up. Most likely will be finished within the 20 seconds, but it can be a little bit tough to make that work, as we are seeing the Fenris Wolves starting to be made here. There's a longhouse coming down for Yoshi. He's going to be needing to fight his way into an advantageous position here, as the settlement not quite finished here. Fimbulwinter can come down immediately now at this point. If Yoshii wants to wait on it, that makes sense as well, as he does click it. Unfortunately, not hitting this town center, but does he hit this town center or this gold mine here? He does hit the gold mine on this position. The Atlanta is in this position here to get a couple of wolf kills here, but a bunch of villagers are going down as Matreiuss has dropped his villager count lead significantly as the town center is now up over on this position. Fishing ships are back to work. The Yormadelver is now out looking for attacks with the Kraken here as well. We are seeing the Pentaconta is out here or starting to get trained by Matreiuss, so you've got to be a little bit careful with that one as he does manage to take that out very, very nicely. The fortress now up on this position here as well, as Yoshii is going to be looking for the jugular here. All the gold mines at this moment. This gold mine here can get pushed off. This gold mine over here, this town center here can get taken down. Yoshii's got all of the momentum here. He's getting himself champion cavalry as well to deal with the infantry of Matreiuss. Matreiuss only can build hoplites at the moment, but the throw and axemen are too strong as the fortress can be getting taken down on this position. There's no gold mines over here. The villagers, though, for Yoshii have to make the long trek up to the top side of the map here as Yoshii is starting to spread out across the map here, getting buildings put down everywhere. We do see the Jarls on this position as well. If Yoshii can get some longhouses up on this position and stop the gold income, that will literally be game here for Matreiuss. Matreiuss at the point, he's got 700 gold in the bank. There is a little bit of trading that can be done. The Hypaspis on this position cannot take this fight here as the Fenris Wolves coming in here as well to take down the remainder of the fortress and take down those heavy Hypaspis. At this point, the best option here for Matreiuss has to be to somehow move his tech into Prodromus here to deal with those raiders and potentially also get himself out some Toxotes or something here to deal with the throw and axemen. But the Fenris Wolves will push them, those villagers back. The Triremes are looking for fishing ship kills here. Yoshii's probably not going to care all too much about that. He wants to get the gold starve on this position. Unfortunately for Yoshii, he hasn't gotten the longhouse down here as the villagers are shanking back on that position. Yoshii needs to start sending himself up to the top side of the map here to kill those villagers off and stop the gold income of Matreiuss. Matreiuss's villagers down to 36 villagers at this point as the Trireme have been forgotten about. The easiest way to defend these kind of raids is to just garrison. It's really hard to keep yourself occupied here as the Fenris Wolves are moving up onto this position. Matreiuss not paying attention here. He's going to be losing those villagers to those Fenris Wolves as he retreats back. He's got no resources in the bank for the production there at the moment to be pulling off of this gold mine. There will be an attempt to come back up to this gold mine. Potentially villagers on this gold mine over here can get taken down. The town center has also been taken out considerably here as well, as now the units are geared up to grab the town center in the middle of the map as well. For Yoshii, as we see Matreiuss here in the second game deciding to tap out. He's got no gold left here. And Yoshii with the beautiful semi-fast Mythic here. I don't know. I mean, the forward longhouses forces Matreiuss to kind of stay in the heroic age much, much longer than he wants to, I guess. But then he's also kind of makes his life a little bit challenging for himself by grabbing town centers and going and staying in the heroic age. If he goes to the mythic age here, he actually gets access to like Plenty Vault, which can help him out a ton to stay alive in these sorts of positions. And a bunch of other things, but getting that third town center up, wasting the ceasefire in order to do so as well, really made it tough for him to stay alive after Yoshii. It's just that timing attack just came through beautifully. There was no gold mines for Matreiuss to grab. They were all up the top side of the map, and Yoshii analyzed that brilliantly. And the Fenris Wolves coming through, and the timing just too hard for Matreiuss to deal with. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.